Welcome to a new day in Empyrion Galactic Survival, and today is the day that we're going to get out and start exploring the planet. The top priority is most certainly going to have to be Promethium. What we'll probably do is try and work our way around the planet following the sun. We'll probably come south first or something like that, but before that I've got a couple of things to do. First thing is I need to unlock the assault rifle. You can see this can only be made in the small constructor. So what we're going to do is just come in here and get here. So where's the small constructor? Hopefully I will have enough resources here to make it. Yep. And we'll probably make about 500 rounds. That is being made purely in order to give me a bit of range attack. Well, that flying insect gave me a jump then. Yeah, that's just to give me a range attack, because in case I run into anything like a drone or something and I have to defend myself, because at the moment this exploration is going to be purely reconnaissance. And a big thank you for your comments and feedback, guys, very much appreciated, and especially some of the reminders of things that I need to do. But I want to explain a couple of things about what I'm going to be doing first. This initial steps are going to be a reconnaissance. Then I will take the ship apart and then rebuild it, because what I really want to find is Promethium. And that's one reason why I haven't put any weapons on this ship, because eventually I will take it apart and I will put weapons on it. And so that's why I haven't done that. And well, I think there's just one more thing to do, and because I want to improve my standing with a Talon. So we're going to activate this mission here, because that will mean that when we run into spiders or anything, we should be okay, and that will help us with our standing with a Talon, simply because if I find Promethium in Talon territory, whoops, let's switch the thrusters on. You can see we're now in thruster mode, and you can see here now we're inside the ship. We've got lots of resources, and I think we're going to start by going south down the side of the lake here. Now I'm not going to grab too much in the way of minerals at the moment. We're just going to gather enough rocks and iron and copper just to keep us going for the moment, because I say the number one priority is most definitely Promethium. And I say the idea is going to be to travel across the planet and find Promethium. Yeah. We'll also grab this here. Now we've got a fridge, we can start to stock up on plant protein. Of course, we will have an opportunity to get more advanced medication as we go along. I think what we will do is kind of a bit kind of that there, and I think we're going to make another bandage. You never have enough bandages. There's a berry bush here. I'll just grab that. Stay in third person, because I'm just going to be jumping in and out of ships. We're a little bit low on silicon. Oops. Of course, this is all XP. Just grab that. Right, small wreckages. This is all familiar to territory. So come here, and of course, when you've got a hover vehicle that should be a little bit further off the ground than it is, travelling down the edge of lakes is a good way to make good progress, because hover vehicles are not particularly that good on rough terrain. And of course, more importantly, if you want to make very good progress, is just to fly along the edge of a lake like this, across water. But be aware that when you're on biofuel, you don't really want to be too far out in the middle of the lake, because if you run out of fuel in the middle of the lake, you will be in trouble. So we're just going to keep going. I think south will be a good starting direction. When it will take time to explore this planet, and of course we have to accept the fact it won't be that long before we run into the Xerax, which should be fun. And of course, that's the second part of the agenda, that I do want to build multiple bases, and there's no point in building bases too far away, because we may deliberately build a base very close to the Xerax just to kind of trigger a base attack. I know it's probably a little bit kind of there. It says west looks very interesting. Maybe we will skate across the lake here. We should be able to make it pretty quickly. I mean, we're probably flying towards Talon territory, not Xerax territory. Maybe we can check that out just to see. We can just get across here. I mean, we got about 20 minutes of fuel left, so we should be okay. I mean, I will need to stop regularly to gather trees. Now, eventually, I will be rebuilding this ship, and I want to do something with this ship, which I haven't done for a long time, and that is put a harvester on the front. I mean, it's something that I used to use a lot back in Alpha 7, Alpha 8, but recently I just didn't see the point of using it. Oh, there's a nice big tree there, so let's just knock out a couple of trees. Because we do need to keep that biofuel flowing in. That's 4 logs for a great big tree like that. Okay, well, we want to get the natural stimulant. Of course, we need to keep enough biofuel to keep the chainsaw going. That one's 5. Maybe we'll grab one more. We're in relatively safe territory here. What happened to that? That's the cheating game. Well, we'll take one more tree to compensate for the one that didn't give me anything. Got that. That should give me enough logs to be going on with. And if you look in the radar at the moment, there's nothing in the radar that goes to show how far away some of that stuff is. And we'll just put that in there. And I suppose we better put some of this good stuff in the fridge. The berries we will bandage there, and we'll make a berry drink there. And of course, I suppose I better put in. Keep the small constructor punching out fuel. No, don't want to do that just at the moment. And we're just going to keep going west. Apologies that this may not be particularly that exciting part, guys, because it is very much about exploring, finding out what's going on, and finding. So we're just going to slide through the trees here. Just keep going west. A little bit of plant fiber there. Just grab that, and I'm walking around with. Oops, we're in Talon territory, and I've just upset them. Didn't even notice I'd entered it. Okay, that was a bit of a fail. We're definitely gonna have to kill some spiders for them. Make up for that in a little bit of. Well, let's just have a check to see what my. Yeah, we're very close to neutral, so we're going to be very careful now. In fact, kind of, maybe I want to go south. It'd be very embarrassing to run out of fuel out in this area here. Yeah, we're just going to keep going south until we're out of Talon territory. Unless, of course, we find some spiders. Kill about 10 of those, that would cheer them up. A lot of Talon hanging around here. Hello guys, I want to be friends. Keep going south. Because, I mean, another reason I'm going south is that there is a lot to the west, but you could probably almost guarantee that a lot of what's to the west of us is Talon buildings, and that doesn't actually help very much. with respect to the finding the key resources. As we found an alien tower. Well, we'll certainly go and check that out carefully. I want to check. Just want to check, see if we actually managed to. No, why is it when I built that? Is it still? Okay, we're just knocking out the assault rifle now. I found some copper. This may not be too bad. Let's say and we found Promethium. Okay. That almost seems too easy. I'm going to be very suspicious here. When it's small, Promethium is what I want. What I am worried about is whether that is going to be guarded by a drone. There's the alien tower. This is part of the Robertson Protocol. There's nothing going to be nothing really in there at the moment, so I'm not going to bother with that. Just keep sidling up towards this Promethium. I mean, it's a very small deposit, but it is a deposit that is going to make a very big difference. And for some reason, it seems to be away from radiation. I wonder if this is an initial deposit that's been put here for purposes of getting the player started. We're going to take a risk of turning the thrusters off. See, we're down to 19% fuel. And here comes the spiders. Okay. We're going to have to... Hey, get off my ship. Right. Oh. Now, Slafu did post a comment about collecting these alien parts and alien tooth, and whether it's actually worth collecting so much and storing it in the fridge. And in some ways, what he said is very true. That, I mean, is there any point to? And what I've found is that if you collect those items from killing spiders in the early stage of the game, what happens? What it means is that you can actually. Oh, that's interesting. That is very, very interesting, because it looks like they've put Promethium back to the way it was before. I'm just going to back off with the drill. Yeah, it is. I'm sure in the experimental release, Promethium had gone back to the textures. It looks very much like what they've actually done is they've put Promethium back to the fact that you need the ore scanner again. That's okay. I mean, I don't have a problem with mining this stuff out using the ore scanner. So what we're going to do is start mining this out. And I think somebody else pointed out that if you actually mine underground, you can gain rock. Although you don't seem to get as much rock as you used to do. Now, of course, this isn't going to be particularly that exciting. And, of course, this is only a small deposit. Well, 52, I'm going to take that. But what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to mine out the Promethium. And because this is very key to what I need to do. And I want to get all of this. So I'll see you in a minute, guys, once I've actually mined out all this Promethium. Okay, guys, that didn't take particularly that long. I mean, we only got 160 Promethium, but that is absolutely fantastic. And what we're going to do is shove this into... You can see we've also got some stone here as well. And that means that what I can do now is start to produce some power cells. And I think we're going to start with about 20 because I don't want to consume that much. And for some reason, what I'm going to do now is come into here, open up the container controller. For some reason it won't let me put the weapon on directly. And put that in there. Of course, what we're going to do is put a little bit of this in here just to keep the fuel up running. Not sure why that won't. Okay, let me just. I'm not sure why I can't put this directly onto my toolbar, but never mind. But we've now got this area here, and put the thrusters back on before I crash. And we are now in business. And I'm going to be a lot more relaxed now with where we are going. I think I still want to go south, even though there's nothing on the radar as such. Because sometimes just chasing the radar can be a bit pointless. Sometimes you just got to. There, I can see we've got something south on the radar already, and I think sometimes it just pays to fly a kind of grid search, especially in this early stage, especially on a large planet like this. Otherwise, what will happen is you will not find stuff, and actually I need to stop and eat as well, so okay, 4, and we're gonna eat a couple of steaks. I mean, we probably could do with making a bit more food, but we're just going to make those power cells first, and then we'll switch the connection over. And somebody else also put a suggestion in about using a separate storage area for wood for making us doing it. I think this is the way that you can go, and eventually my ship, I will be using that approach. Oh look, there's a. I think we're going to go for the XP. Let's see what this guy's like. And it may not be one of my better ideas, but and of course we're just going to get a bit more meat. I mean, that was just purely for XP. Right, going south. I think we're going to use the lakes rather than trying to get across this rough terrain. We can flip across the water here, move into here. Now we're coming up to some mountains. Mountains always prove a bit of a challenge for hover vehicles. There's actually some spices there. We're just going to grab that as well. It's a nice little grouping of resources here, which is too good to pass up. And grab the resource drill. Yeah, mountains can be a bit of a pain in the neck for hover vehicles, especially if they're really steep, especially if you're running one with the absolute minimal thrusters. But of course, something I do want to do in this part is maybe build a base on a mountaintop. So mountains are going to be a little bit of an interest. I think what we can do is skate along the surface here. See the pteropods sinking into the water? Okay. Let's just have a look here. Out there, we've got Xerax territory that way, so I think it might be more advisable to go this way and go round the kind of northern rim of these mountains. I don't really want to mix it up with the Xerax just yet. I just want to know where they are, because we don't have guns on this ship, and I've also some of it's built of carbon substrate. I certainly don't want to run into a Xerax patrol, especially ones armed with rockets or plasma weapons, because they will basically tear the ship apart. So I think we'll go this way, and of course we do need to keep going west, because what I would like to do is just keep exploring in daylight, and that's the way to do it, is to just keep moving west. So we're entering Xerax territory. Okay. So we're going to need to get a little bit further north, but it says there's something to the north of us anyway, so let's just get out. That's the type of mistake that could get me killed. And it says there's two twice, and maybe we'll sky off north. Yeah. And then we're outside of Xerax territory now. We'll go north to see what we can find in this direction, and then maybe flip west again. Okay. This is again, the radar is filling up. That's probably because it's now starting to pick up the Talon buildings. Maybe I don't really want to do that. I think we're going to turn west so that we can keep in the daylight. How's the fuel going? Check. Fuel. Yeah, we got 33%. Well, we need to put some of this stuff in the fridge. And what we'll do is we'll store the medication there. And we've got some power cells now. Great. And we'll just put that in there. And what we'll do is to hover vehicle, take the control of 1, fuel, and again I don't want to use up all this fuel, but that is very useful. That makes everything. So we are now in business, but I'm still going to keep using I'm still going to keep making and using the biofuel. Simply is that one small patch of Promethium won't last very long, and I want to keep some for when I set the base up, because when you set a base up, there is an initial phase when before you can get solar panels up and running, where you need to power the base for your constructors. We're just going to keep going. Yeah, we'll keep heading west, I think, for the moment, because the day's starting to end a little bit. We keep pushing this way. In fact, what I might do is a little bit of a boost and just go completely due west and see what's to the west of us. Maybe we'll keep going west until we find out what those two items are in this direction. I'm not finding very much at the moment. This is west and south now. Is anything open up yet? So we're literally flying around the top of Xerax territory. Maybe we will go slightly northwest. Oh no, it's the game is saying that we've got 3 lots of stuff to the west of us, and I think that's going to be worth doing it. I mean, I will fill the gaps in eventually. Yeah, let's just push through. In fact, there's hills in front of us, so if we go through the trees here, and yeah, it looks like there's some fairly rough terrain in front of us, but we just keep skirting through the trees here. There's a lake there, so that could be really good. I'll pick up a bit more spice here. And grab that, and I've actually found a copper deposit. Okay, where's the copper deposit? We've got a copper deposit there. That's going to be very useful. I think we'll head for that for the moment. Just slide in and out between these trees. Actually, let's just have a quick check of what I'm producing. Not producing anything at the moment, so what we're going to do is hook to the fridge. Oops, gone. And I think we'll just produce some food. We've got Make 1, 2, 3, 4 salami. Can we make any med kits yet? I would like to make something here. I mean, we could craft some antibiotic ointment, maybe. Knock out a couple of these. And what I would like actually here is, what else do we want? We need confetti moss scrapings. So that would be close to a lake. So we need to keep an eye out for that. Because if we do find an alien base or something that's got creatures in, dermal parasites can be a real killer, and so we actually need the antibiotics for that as well. So we found an abandoned reactor. Again, we're gonna have to be a little bit careful. I'm a bit worried about through the trees here. I mean, an abandoned reactor would be a great place to explore, but if it's defended by drones, we could have a problem. So we're just gonna, wow, some nice big set of resources here. This could be a good place for a base. We've got a mountain range there, right next to Xerax territory. I mean, this could be an interesting place. Let's just go and check out the abandoned reactor. Right, here it is. If I remember correctly, this has actually got some defences to it. Oh, the spiders here. Okay, let's draw these guys off a bit. I need to kill some more, so. Okay. Hello guys, hello boys. Oops. Oops. I'm panic shooting, which I don't want to do. A quick reload. Aha. Gotcha. So we're now up to 7. Yeah. I think we've got enough meat. I don't think I need to worry too much about this. Yeah, it's a possibility that because we're so low to the ground, we're on a hover vehicle. But I'm pretty sure the guns are mounted. Look over the top here. There's a tree in the middle which isn't helping the mountains very much. Yeah, the guns are mounted there. You can see them. So. Ha! He's just shot at me. I think we're going to leave that for the moment. I don't really want to push into that just at the moment. We will be back for them later on once we've got some firepower to suppress the actual sentinel guns. Because of course one of the problems I do have is the fact that this ship is not particularly that well equipped and it's got a limited carry capacity, so there's no point trying to loot one of these bases at the moment and trying to carry anything away. So let's say this is very much a reconnaissance mission, so this could be a really good area. I quite like that. And I'm also aware of the time, guys. Right, what we're going to do is explore a little bit more, but I want to go towards this rock face here because this is an example of what I mentioned in the comments in my previous series. See this really steep front up here? Now, if you could build a base up on the top there, having this literal wall here, especially if we sculpt it back a little bit, cut it back. I mean, I just want to check this out actually. Let's see if we can get up on top. Yeah, I mean this is not really hover vehicle territory. Let me just get here, land a bit. Turn the thrusters off here. And I think we're going to just go the rest of the way on foot. And I do want to scout this out. I might as well pick that up. See, on foot. And I mean, there shouldn't be that much in the way of hostiles here. Right, we're going to have to use the jetpack to boost up and walk the angles here. This could be an ideal location for what I wanted to test. Of course, this would be a later base than, because this is not hover vehicle territory, but this is where you could build a mountain citadel. I just want to see what the back curve is like. If you could build a base up here, yeah, look at that. Get up onto the top here. Yeah, it's a bit flat here, so you'd have to dig it away here. But imagine building a base up here. I mean, you'd have to flatten the top. You'd have to do quite a lot of terrain manipulation up here. But yeah, but up here, you'd have a fantastic range. Well, there's even more mountains over there. I mean, obviously it's going to be cold up here because you see it's 7 degrees, so this is not something to do without a suit. Yeah, I mean, a base up here, I mean, you could put turret guns to shoot anything coming in, and any troops that landed down here would have, especially if you made these cliff faces even more sheer, this would be an ideal location like the old medieval fortresses. Yeah, you could have some fun building a base up here. And you've got a fantastic view actually as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole range of mountains here. I'm just going to mark this waypoint. I'm just going to call this Mountain Base. And we're just going to accept that. I mean, just so I know where it is, because obviously with this big map, things could get a little bit tricky and I could lose the location. And of course we've now got to get down off the mountain without killing ourselves. And this is where it could be a little bit fun. Yeah, I mean, there's another potential one over there. What I want to do is just go up around here. And we're just going to run down this part of the mountain. There we go. And night's coming on. What we're going to do is go west to try and stay in the daylight. So don't really want to waste resources sleeping through the night. Wow, this is going to be very rough terrain. I mean, this is the type of terrain that could give the anyone attacking us a bit of a problem. And of course, more importantly, it is close to 0x territory here. What I'm going to do is just punch through here so that we can get back into a reasonable amount of daylight. I'm just going to keep pushing through here. It still says there's something to the west of us. Actually, I haven't checked. What's the resources like here? So we've got 18 deposits of iron, 12 of silicon, 15 copper, 11 promethium, and 1 deposit of gold. God, thank you, game. And we're going to need gold to make an EVA suit, unless of course I get really lucky and find it tucked away in a POI. Once we find it, so we're now back in flat terrain. So we cross this mountain range here, and I'm just going to keep punching maybe northwest now. So we go northwest across this flat area here, so we're still driving into the daylight so we can actually see what's going on. There's some fibre there. I'm just going to jump off. I know it's only a tiny bit of fibre, but see, there's another mountain top here. That could be useful, right? Whatever's to the west is now flipped to the south. Yeah, there's some real potential here for some mountaintop bases. I mean, it's not going to be the first base I'm going to build. I mean, the first base, oops, we just had some raptors. I just flown over the top, but I think I just went over the top of them so quick that they weren't able to grab me. I certainly don't really want to tangle with raptors just at the moment. Yeah, we're just going to push through here. My first base is most likely going to be near a lake, and possibly even in a lake. I mean, again, I'm looking for a potential base location that will give me the opportunity to build out in a lake. So, because I just want to test whether the opposition will come into a lake. I mean, there's a lake here, but I don't think it's good. Oh, no, it could be big, but it's actually on a dry terrain. Because I do need some confetti moss scrapings as well. So I'm just gonna come across here. I think what we're gonna do, guys, is we're just gonna come up the edge here. I am looking for, there's a pteropod. I mean, pteropods will be a hazard if you do build a base by a lake, but they're not that much of a major hazard. I'm kind of looking for... really, we need a marshy shore. This is more arid. There's another slimy creature, but we're not going to kill one of those. We don't want to make a habit of it. Let's get some height so that I don't drop into the water. I'm just going to shoot across the lake here. You see the pteropods. They spawn and then sink into the water, which is a little bit odd. But then that could be the nature of the game engine. Let's just through this desert area here. Well, that looks like it's got potential, because that looks very much like a radiation area. But again, we're going to have to be a little bit careful, because areas like this are often patrolled. Yeah. Now, what? Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting area, because we might be able to find Promethium on the surface. We could get a Promethium deposit. Also, there's a possibility that we may find Pentaxid. And of course, Pentaxid is now... there it is. Okay, let's drop down. I think the ship's not level. Let's just level off a bit. It doesn't want to level off, okay. We certainly want Pentaxid, because this is going to be the resources. We're going to need this power a force shield. Is something else I do want to look at. Right, we've now got to level 8. I seem to be going through the levels incredibly quickly. A lot more quicker than I thought I would. Yeah, wow, 52 degrees. What we're going to do is just explore this area, and then that would be it for the video. As I say, what I'm really after is the Pentaxid. And saying I've got no idea what the... It would be really great to put a force field on the hover vehicle, because you can put a force field on a base and all the ships. Although, to be honest, I'm not too sure why you'd want to put a force field on a capital vessel unless you are... we're going to get into a space battle. Okay, there's some Promethium here. Certainly going to grab this. You can hear something running around here as well, so we've got to be a bit careful. It's probably, you guys won't be able to hear it because of the thunderstorm that we're actually in. We're in 56 degrees of temperature at the moment, so isn't particularly that helpful. I'm just going to do that. We're starting to overheat, so we're going to have to get back to the hover vehicle. Back very, very quickly. Put back in. There's some more Pentaxid around here, over there. There's also, you can find cobalt here as well, but I haven't seen any so far. This is where you guys say, well, you walk straight past a rock. Yeah, it's just, let's just get some food here. Probably, seeing I'm still on hook to the controller. Food wise, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Another 4 steaks. Just get out here, have this, and I'm not seeing. I suppose it'd be a bit too much to ask. Find cobalt and Pentaxid in the area. Okay. Jump in here. There's a little bit more Promethium over here. Only going to grab that. I mean, this is a great haul. Just put the drone up. We got something down over there. I should be able to get here. Yeah, cobalt. That's great. I mean, that's going to be very useful as well. We're just going to put me here. Sidle into here. And I'm just going to jump. Okay, guys, I've got a feeling that I'm going to need to pick over this whole area very carefully. And I think you've got an idea of what I'm going to be doing. And of course, it's not going to be that exciting. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. Hopefully by the next part, oh, that's silicon. Oh well, we'll still take it. I'm obviously going to have to spend a little bit of time here going over, picking over this entire area here. You can see there's some Promethium down there as well. Because this is a very rich resource that's going to really unlock the potential of this playthrough. I will probably go over this entire area very carefully off camera, guys, but this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.